Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions. Today we're going to deal with all different types of problems with fractions. We're going to multiply fractions by whole numbers, fractions by fractions, and mixed numbers times mixed numbers. So we're going to kind of combine 3 lessons into one short video. So let's first talk off with our problems about multiplying fractions by a whole number. So if my first problem is 8 times 1.5. Okay, our first step is always to change our whole number into a fraction, and we did that back into our estimating one. I'm going to put 8 over 1 times 1 over 2. Now there's 2 different ways we can solve it. We can either simplify first in the problem, or we can simplify at the end. I'm going to show you both. So here I'm just going to multiply across 8 over 2. I can't have this because this is an improper fraction, so I'm going to change this. I know that 2 goes into 8 4 times, so my answer would be 4. However, the second step that you could do is, instead of simplifying at the end, is simplifying right into your problem. 1 and 1 is as simplest as I think I can get, but 2, I know I can divide 2 by 2 and get 1, and I can divide 2 by 8 and get 4, and then I would have 4 times 1 is 4 over 1, which gives me 4. So either way, I'm going to get the right answer, whether I want to simplify at the end or simplify in the problem. I know for me personally, I like to simplify in the problem first, because then I'm dealing with smaller numbers, versus at the end simplifying and having to deal with bigger numbers that it might take me another step to solve. So let's try another multiplying a fraction by a whole number. Let's try 3/7 times 8. Again, I'm going to change my whole number into a fraction. I always like to try to see if I can simplify. 3 and 1, I can't really simplify that. And 8 and 7, I can't simplify that. So I know that 8 times 3 is 24, and 1 times 7 is 7. And now I just have to see how many times does 7 go into 24. It goes in 3 whole times, and that would be 21. So I have 24 minus 21 is 3. And then I put it back over the denominator. So when we're taking an improper fraction and turning it into a mixed number, the whole number will be how many times the denominator goes into the numerator. In this case, it's 3. And then for the numerator, I would subtract my 24 from 21 and get 3. And then I always put it back over the denominator. Let's try another one, because that was kind of tricky. So let's try the problem 5/6 times 15. I'm just going to set it up like this. And I'm just going to put this over 1. Again, 6 and 15, I like to simplify. I know that 3 goes into 6 and 3 goes into 15. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'll just simply multiply. So I'll have 25 over 2. So here's my improper fraction. I have to see how many times does 2 go into 25. It goes in 12 times, because that's 24. I have 25 minus 24 is 1, and then I put that back over my denominator. All right, so let's try some other problems. Let's try when we have 2 fractions, which is basically what we're doing here. So let's see what that would look like. If we have 3/5 times 5/7. Again, I'm going to try to simplify right away. 5 and 5, I can change those to 1 and 1, because 5 goes into 5 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 7 is 7. And I'm done with that problem. All right, let's try another one. I'm going to go a little bit slower because I want you to try it on your own. So let's try 7/8 times 1/2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for simplifying. So I'm going to look at my 7 and 2 and see if I can simplify, which I can't. I'm going to look at my 8 and 1, and I can't. So again, I'm just going to multiply across. 7 times 1 is 7. 8 times 2 is 16. I'm always going to see if I can simplify here, but in this case I can't. So 7/16 is my answer for this problem. All right, so let's try another one. So let's try, I'll make this one easy. 3/4 times 2/3. So take a moment to see if you can simplify. I actually can simplify it both ways, right? 3 and 3, I can simplify that down to 1 and 1 because 3 goes into 3 one time. And this way, actually, I can simplify 2, and I can simplify 4 down to 2. And when I'm done, I would get 1/2. Or, again, like you could do before, I could multiply my 2 times 3 and get 6, and 4 times 3 is 12, and then I could simplify at the end and get it. So either way it'll work. You'll both get the same answer as long as you always simplify. Okay, the part that always gets us is changing our mixed numbers into improper fractions to multiply. So let's try 4 1/2 times 2 5/6. All right, so the first thing I have to do is I have to change these into an improper fraction. So I multiply the two bottom numbers, and then I add the top number. So I get 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and I put that back over my denominator, which was 2. Here, 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17 over 6. I'm going to try to simplify because I want to deal with some smaller numbers. I know that 3 goes into 6 2 times. I know 3 goes into 9 3 times. And now I'll just have to multiply. I don't know what 17 times 3 is, so I actually have to do that math. So it's 51. So I have 51 over 4, right? Now I'm going to see how many times does 54 go into 51. So I'll have to do my math here. So it goes in 12 times, so that's my whole number. Right? I have 3 left over, because that's my remainder. And then I just put it back over the 4, the denominator. So my answer for this one would be 12 3/4. All right, I'm going to try one, and you go ahead and do it a little bit slower. This will be our last one for this video. All right, so our last problem, let's try 3 1/5 times 3 1/6. So remember, the first thing you have to do is change it into an improper fraction. So hopefully you figured out this. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16 over 5. And then multiply that by 18, 19 over 6. Again, I can't simplify because 6, actually I can do by 2, right? So 3 and 8. Right, so 19 times 8, don't know that math, have to do that one. 15, 152 over 15, because 5 times 3 is 15. Now I need to do my dividing because I have to see how many times it goes in. So 15 goes into 1, 5, 2, it goes in 1 time. 15 can't go into 2, so it's 0. Right? That's my remainder. So it goes in 10 whole times with 2 left over my remainder, or over my denominator of 15. All right, hopefully those make sense to you. Hopefully I did that math right now as I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh gosh, did I do it right? So let me know if I don't. Put a comment in there, because as I'm looking it over, I might have made a mistake on that one. All right, as always, ask me if you have any questions. I'd be glad to help you.